Preserve your proximity. Another addition to the corporate Hunger Games series on my channel is going to be dedicated to dealing with competitive coworkers. So when you are dealing with coworkers who are abusing proximity to you because they know that outside of the workplace, you probably wouldn't talk to them, you wouldn't hang out with them, you wouldn't even entertain, maybe, connecting with them, being around them. Unfortunately, a lot of people find themselves dealing with coworkers who abuse that proximity while they're on the clock or while they're working together. It could be remote. So it's really important for people to pay attention to instances of people abusing that proximity or doing little things to undermine you. And I also want people to be cautious. For example, say you are in a meeting, and I've talked about this some time ago. And this is also broken down in detail in the publications Green Eyes, as well as in the Lion's Den Navigating Systems of Power. Sometimes your coworkers are actually utilized as pawns, and that's why there's no repercussions to them antagonizing you, disrespecting you, and sabotaging your work. And it's typically because the coworkers and maybe your supervisor, your manager, or your boss have something in common. And that could be that they both do not like you. Or it could be a group of coworkers as well as a supervisor, a manager, a boss that also is not fond of you. They may benefit from you being present and from you providing your expertise, you being there to do some kind of work, but they also may not like you. They may not be fond of you. And it's very important that if you realize you're outnumbered in a professional setting in particular, especially when we talk about corporate. So when you're in these meetings and you realize that you're the butt of the joke, start getting your ducks in a row to find another opportunity. Because as long as people are comfortable utilizing you as the scapegoat or positioning you as the scapegoat in a professional environment, you will never reach your fullest potential. I say this all the time. You will never actualize your potential. You will probably be snubbed for certain opportunities that you qualify for, but they will give it to someone who's underqualified in comparison to you. Whether it be your experience, whether it be, your acumen. And it's because sometimes when you come into certain spaces and you have a lot to offer, it poses a threat to individuals who are there. So they will do everything in their power to keep you within that environment because they fear that if you do land another opportunity, you will supersede them. So this is another reason why I'm always reiterating instances of disrespect, especially in professional settings, should not be taken lightly. And when we break it down even further, when we think about professionalism, working in corporate, working in, some kind of business endeavor, you all are typically talking about tasks. That's the main focus, is you guys focusing on a job, right? A professional obligation, a professional responsibility. So what will warrant someone becoming so emotionally dysregulated to where they have to constantly take jabs at you or create a whole group to do some reputation ruining or to orchestrate a smear campaign? When we really step back and we think about this objectively and from, a logical perspective, this actually makes no sense. How could you possibly get to the point to where you're disrespecting someone on the clock and you all only spend about 8 hours out of the day with one another? It makes absolutely no sense. And if you're posing a constant threat or a constant attack to someone who doesn't even disclose intimate details about themselves, they don't impose their own values onto other people. Now, if people ask them, they may be honest, but they don't necessarily go out of their way bombarding other people with their personal ideologies. They show up, they do their work, and they leave, right? They keep it very cordial, very respectful, but there's also firm boundaries there so they can avoid stepping on any toes and vice versa. Someone who is operating in that professional manner, how could someone get to the point to where they feel offended by someone who is presenting themselves in such a way? So when we put that into context, it makes the disrespect even more of a red flag. And it puts an emphasis on whenever you are disrespected, especially in a professional capacity, it is in your best interest to get out of Dodge. Reiterating how a competitive coworker or competitive coworkers, and yes, a supervisor, a boss, a manager can be included in this. This is better understood by revisiting the envious archetype in Green Eyes titled The Malicious Mentor. But if you're dealing with a competitive coworker, it could be someone who is in a higher position or someone who is your peer, a colleague, a coworker. The way that they will abuse proximity to you is positioning you as the professional punching bag. They will make you out to be the workplace punching bag. And here's the dangerous thing about it. A lot of the time, the person who is appointed the role of being the professional punching bag, they're typically more qualified than the people in that environment, the people within that group. And that's why they get the most slack. It's because people know that if we do not emotionally and mentally torment this person to the point to where they have Stockholm syndrome, to the point to where they're operating in learned helplessness, to the point where their self-confidence and their self-esteem is completely diminished, so that we know for a fact they're going to stay stagnant here, and we can always keep a thumb on them to ensure they never reach their potential, then they may actually soar. And they may get to the point to where they see their value, they see their potential, and they act on it. Or they start to strive for opportunities and positions that are actually in alignment with their potential. That's the thing. Some people are utilizing, or rather abusing, proximity because they're capitalizing on the fact that you don't perceive you need to be in a higher position. You have no business being around these kinds of people. And I also encourage people, and I say this all the time, when I talk about group dynamics in particular, and for those who are dealing with this kind of interpersonal opposition, rather than fighting the current when you realize you're dealing with so much opposition from a collective, embrace it. Because sometimes the attacks and the hardships, the obstacles is a sign that you have outgrown that place, or you had no business being there to begin with. Your capacity is too big for the box of that organization, that environment, that group at large. So you have to be careful. People will see that you bring something of value, and they will bring you along. They will seek you out. They'll chase you down. Yeah, come join, come be a part of this. Yeah, we really want you here, just to abuse you, just to exploit all of the valuable attributes that you bring to the table, with no intentions of reciprocating, with no intentions of respecting you. In fact, their purpose is parasitic. They'll suck you dry of all of your valuable contributions, and then once you're in a state of destitution, they're like, oh, well, we can't help you with that. Or they'll rub it in your face. So when you are dealing with competitive coworkers and a supervisor, manager, boss, or whatever is included in this, be careful when they start abusing proximity. When they start abusing proximity, take it as a sign to pivot. Now, to elaborate a little bit further, I'm going to read from the excerpt in the publication in the Lion's Den, Navigating Systems of Power, titled Preserve Your Pearls. Navigating systems of power requires you to protect your most valuable assets at all times. Those outside of yourself are often only interested in using your talents for their gain with no real intention of safeguarding them. In these systems, value is seen solely from a capitalistic perspective, meaning others seek ways to profit from what makes you exceptional. However, few will genuinely commit to assisting or protecting you. The sooner one understands that these systems are driven by opportunism, the sooner they can align with their goals. All right, babes, that's all that I have for this video. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in, but of course, I want to hear you all's comments, opinions, perspectives, as well as personal experiences with a situation like this in the comment section below. I look forward to speaking to you guys in the next one, babes. Take care. Okay, so I do have a few announcements. I will be doing a virtual Bible study session And all you have to do to sign up and receive the link is go to my community tab and click on the link to submit your email address. And that will be taking place November 26, 2025, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lastly, I will be doing a virtual session for the women who were interested in us doing a group talking a little bit about hardships and establishing a safe place that is meant to promote healing and community. So that's finally here. For those who watched my Milena review where I talked a little bit about beauty envy, you guys were telling me that you all would be interested in a group. So that will be taking place December 3rd, 2025, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the process is the same. All you have to do is go to my community tab, click on the corresponding link, and submit your email address so you can receive the virtual meeting link.